3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Anderson. Anderson, and you're watching freaking Jiggy Jag TV.
Loud and proud, it's Jiggy Jaguar from JiggyJaguar.com.
Thank you. Good night.
Well, a band called honalee. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Dan Stone.
I'm Eli Zola.
I'm Chris Ware.
Sarah Randall Hunt.
So tell me about the band. How did you guys get together?
New York City, a little over 4 years ago. We had a mutual friend who is a very accomplished music director in New York City. He had this great idea to create this group where he would find people who really, really like each other to play the best folk music that's ever been made. He couldn't do that, so he found us. And, no, really, he wanted to find people who were really, really influenced or motivated to play the music of Peter, Paul, and Mary and the music of that generation. Not necessarily to imitate it or to try to prove some sort of a point, but just because he could tell, and as a result, we could all tell that it was sort of missing. There wasn't an opportunity for people to really reconnect with this music, and we just leaped the opportunity, and we've been together ever since. Yeah.
Loved it, and yeah. What has it been? 4 years now, gentlemen?
Over 4, yeah.
Aww, 4-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So tell me, each of you, about your music education. What's your musical background?
We'll start with the ladies first.
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Well, I'm from Kansas City, actually, so I'm a hometown girl. And my parents, I grew up listening to this music of this era. A few people other than Peter, Paul, and Mary really first, and then I kind of found Peter, Paul, and Mary later on in my own music. But I was a classically trained singer, and that's kind of how, at the same time, so I was learning to sing that way. And then had all this folk influence, and then it all kind of met in the middle with all of this stuff. So
that's cool.
That's me.
Yep. And I was originally exposed to this music when I was a kid as well, but since I'm from Louisiana, I got a little bit more of the countryside of things as well. So lots of Woody Guthrie and things like that too. So anyway, my background in playing guitar, I started playing when I was like 12 years old and played throughout high school. Did a lot of my own singer-songwriter stuff when I was younger. Playing coffee shops around Baton Rouge, where I'm from. And I sang in choirs and stuff all throughout college. I actually have a degree in theater from Northwestern State
That's
down
cool.
in Louisiana. Yep. And I've toured the country doing musicals as well as singing concert work. And then I also, I found a way to marry my passion for performing on the stage with playing guitar through this group, which is pretty fun.
Will you speak some Creole?
I done got no Creole there, shit. Come on.
I love it when he does that.
How do you follow that? I've had this music in my life for as long as I can remember, and one of my first records was Peter, Paul, and Mary, and Pete Seeger doing Abby Yo-Yo. I mean, it was always in my life, and I grew up not far from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I went to the University of Michigan, but I've been there my entire life, and that's a folk town. I mean, that's the place where those guys are held in very, very high regard, and they were ever since the 60s began this sort of folk movement. I started playing guitar when I was 13. I loved music lessons. I started taking piano as young as 4, and my parents, by the time I turned 13 and I started getting a little wily, my parents were like, well, we can't keep him from guitar any longer, so let's make sure he's well educated. And I was a classically trained guitar player by the age of 16. So I've always had a passion for this music. I've always loved the intricacies and the way that it can really just, along with being very, very well-written, well-orchestrated music, it can be personal and tell a story. And so when I moved to New York to try to pursue a career in theater, just like these two, I graduated from the University of Michigan Musical Theater program, and I found an opportunity to blend all of those worlds together, much like these two were looking for. And it was perfect. It was just absolutely ideal for everything I'd ever listened to.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So my parents were big music fans too. My dad had a pretty big LP collection. I can remember hiding behind the couch with headphones on, listening to Tommy over and over again. Played in band. Picked up bass guitar when I was 12. Picked up the upright bass when I was in college, and got really into blues and rock, and then got into jazz. So I graduated with a undergraduate jazz studies from the University of North Texas, which has a pretty good jazz program, and then did some touring with the big band. Moved moved to New York City back in 2007, did my master's in musicology at the City College of New York, and started playing a lot of theater gigs. That's how I hooked up with these guys through the Mutual Association of the Music Director, and then moved back to Fort Worth. I'm from the Dallas area, but moved back to Fort Worth with my wife, and we have a little son now, and we live in Fort Worth, but I still get to play and do gigs like this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So why do you guys think that the music of Peter, Paul, and Mary has stood the test of time?
Oh, like,
Because it's great.
it's amazing. Because you can sing along with it, first of all, let's talk about that. You can sing along with it. It's music for the people, and the thing that I'm always astounded about, and my favorite part about doing this, is the way that it connects people, and the reaction of the people after we do these songs. They come out and they want to talk about it, and they want to share their experiences. And it's of such a diverse background, such, and so many different entries into this music from the countryside. I mean, like, we're a clear example of all of that, actually.
Yeah.
But like, of all the different entryways to this music, Peter, Paul, and Mary, and this other music of the '60s is at the cross section of a lot of really important things in American music. So it really hits home with a lot of people.
In American history as well.
In American history, geez, yeah.
Yeah. But so what we really love is that not only does this music have a political message in some contexts, but it also has just a family message. I mean, with songs like that we do, like Rocky Road and Puff the Magic Dragon, kids can listen to that and they get into it as well. So I think it has a broad spectrum of ways to relate to people.
Also because it whether or not it's a literal narrative or it's something like a little bit more subliminal, it tells a story.
Yeah.
And regardless of the way that popular music has gone over time, sometimes it directly tells stories, sometimes it doesn't. We especially as an American culture, being the melting pot that we are, we came here with our stories. We've always enjoyed being entertained by stories. I mean, look at the most popular things in our culture right now are things like Netflix and everything. Everybody's binge watching. It's because they can't get enough of what it is to be involved in a story. And it may not be binge watching for hours on end in front of your computer. It may be a 3.5-minute song played so simply and sung by just a few voices that says, I connect with that. And it can be anything from political to something for a child and everything in between. If you can connect with it just by being a part of it, then that's exactly why this music has lasted as long as it has and why we're so happy to play it.
That's cool. Now, what kind of vocal warm-ups do you guys have to do to get into this music? Because this music is very...
Eli usually has to eat a half rack of
This isn't heavy metal that you guys are doing.
No. I usually have as big a meal as possible, and that's no jokes because some of the stuff that I get to sing is way down in the basement.
Yeah.
And so if I get a nice big old meal, I feel my gut just pop out, and I got all this space to go down low. So that's the way we do it there. Sometimes. Sometimes just a few push-ups in the gym or in the locker room beforehand, and you're feeling good to go. I don't know what Sarah does, but it always seems to work.
I do a lot of weird vocal warm-ups. And my sister, I lived with my sister for 2 years in New York City, and I would do these exercises, and she'd be like, "That makes me want to throw up."
Well, sisters.
And she would be like, "What are you doing? It's so creepy." So I do a lot of weird
singers are
faces
weird,
and sounds.
Yeah. I usually hum and yawn, and then have like a big glass of water, and then go out and sing.
The tenor and
That's
I
it.
If I warm up too much, I lose the stuff on the top
yeah.
or the bottom, so I can't warm up too much.
The tenor and I sometimes have high note competitions, but
Yeah.
I always win.
Barely.
Danny, what's your vocal warm-up?
I just crack my knuckles a couple times, do a somersault, and jump out on stage.
That's it.
Bass players.
Somersaults
I got
onto
bass
the
players
stage.
now.
So, when you guys got here to the theater and did sound check, what did you guys think of
Oh my
the
gosh.
building?
It's a great space.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. And the acoustics are incredible.
Yeah.
We're actually going to unplug and sing without amplification for one of the songs because we love the space and the sound so
One of our
much.
favorite songs.
Yeah. It's gorgeous.
It's a perfect space. We actually
Yeah.
were like, so is there a way to turn the reverb down at all?
There is no reverb.
It's an acoustic space, but there's nothing on there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's perfect then.
This is really actually a really special thing for me growing up in Detroit. Going to the Fox Theater was a really, really special thing there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're,
There's not too many of them left.
no,
Yes,
they're going
seriously.
away, and it's a
They're going
shame.
away.
And along with so many of the other wonderful theaters
You
across the
played
country.
in Fox,
I played the
right?
Fox in Atlanta.
You
as
played
well.
the Fox in Atlanta.
Yeah, and man, so this is my first time playing a Fox Theater tonight, and I'm really excited. This is going to be
Cool.
wonderful.
Now, social media. How do you guys use social media to connect with the audience?
Well, we're on Facebook, a band called Honalee on Facebook. We're also at Honalee NYC on Twitter, so you can follow us there. And we have an Instagram account, I think, as well.
We do.
I think it's like anything hashtag folk it up.
Folk,
F-O-L-K-I-T-U-P.
Folk it.
And then
Make
Honalee.
sure you enunciate that, though.
Honalee
Folk.
NYC.
Yeah, family show.
Family show.
Yes.
Y'all.
Yeah.
And we're at a band called honalee.com.
.com.
We are.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the
Future
links,
tour dates.
the links to everything there, future shows, as well as all of our Instagram and everything like that is on
Yeah.
the website.
Yeah, also you can get on there, check out a couple of our tracks that are also on our CD that we're selling here this evening at the show and that we sell at all of our shows. So you can get all the information about all of that on our website.
So where do you guys go tomorrow?
It's pretty bad. We're actually going to we're going back to New York City for a few days.
For a breather.
We're actually, so this is something fun that we're doing this month is we're working in more members to the Honalee family. So whenever we're bi-coastal, so Sarah lives
in
in Los
California.
Angeles now, and I'm always auditioning for things that may take me out of town. He's a very accomplished music director, so we brought in more people to be able to.
You're like Menudo.
We're like Menudo.
Without the controversy.
So we'll bring people in whenever we're, if we have other projects that are happening, we'll bring other people in. So
That's
this
cool.
week we're rehearsing one of our other ladies. Her name is Hanley, and we're going to be going to Pensacola, not Pensacola. I keep saying Pensacola, Panama City, Florida,
Other P
this
cities.
coming weekend. So yeah.
And we got what we're calling the
Rust
the
Belt
Rust
Tour.
Belt
Rust
Tour.
Belt
We'll
Tour.
we'll be in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Delaware. We're going to spend an entire week on the road in the middle of February. Do a little Valentine's Day show.
We're also doing some education outreach as well too. We do some classes about songwriting for kids and talk about song structure and the history of this
Awesome.
music and things
Yeah.
like that too. So
Good
it's gonna be a lot
stuff.
of fun.
You bet.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks
for doing
having
this.
It's our pleasure.
And before I let you guys go, how do we find you guys online one more time?
www.abandcalledhonalee.com.
Hashtag folk, F-O-L-K, it up.
Thank you.
Watching, Jiggy Jag, Jiggy Jag, Jiggy Jag, Jiggy Jag, Jiggy Jag. You're watching Jiggy, Jiggy, Jiggy Jag, Jiggy, 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 Jiggy Jag, Jiggy, Jiggy Jag. Yeah.
Yeah, watch it.